What is up everybody, it's Jake here back with another video, and this is the Huawei Mate 8. It's supposed to be the successor to the Huawei Mate 7 that came out a little over a year ago, and let's see if it keeps up. The Huawei Mate 8 has an all-metal body, it feels very premium in the hand, and it does feel like an expensive piece of hardware because it is. It's a really good looking phone, and the matte finish back and the lack of curve makes it very easy to hold, and with a 78% of screen to body ratio and tiny bezels all around the phone, it's relatively manageable when using a phone one-handed. But at the end it's still a 6-inch phablet, and I find myself using the phone with two hands more often than I do with one hand. The camera at the back is slightly protruding, so you do have to be careful if you plan to put it face up on a table. But the good thing is, it doesn't move around while typing. To the left, there's a dual SIM tray, but one of them doubles as a microSD card slot in case you want to add some more storage. On the front, there's a huge 6-inch 1080p IPS panel with a pixel density of 367 pixels per inch, and it's covered by Gorilla Glass 4. Is the resolution too low for 2016? No. Color still pops, viewing angle is great, and it's plenty sharp because no one can actually tell a difference between a Full HD and a Quad HD just by naked eyes. And thanks to the size, it's a pleasure to watch movies and videos on it. But just like every LCD display, the blacks could be deeper, and I wish they could make it a little brighter for outdoors. But overall, it's a pretty good looking panel. Below the camera there's a fingerprint scanner, and it works great, just like the one on the Nexus 6P. It's quick, it's accurate, it recognizes my fingerprint every single time, and unlocks the phone like that. Under the hood of the Huawei Mate 8 is rocking a high silicon Kirin 950 octa-core processor, 128 gigs of storage, backed up by 4 gigs of RAM in the high-end version, and it performs like a beast. Gaming has been super smooth, there's no frame drops whatsoever, everything is fast. It handles 3D games very easily, and I think the reason for that is the 1080p display. It's pushing way less pixels than Quad HD phones, which makes the CPU and GPU a lot easier to process. So yeah, gaming is enjoyable, but the speaker is so easy to be covered by my finger due to its placement. And the sound quality is okay when it's at about 50 to 60% volume, but if you turn it all the way up, all the bass and details will be gone. Oh, by the way, only one of the grills at the bottom actually contains a speaker. The Mate 8 is running Huawei's latest custom skin Emotion UI 4.0 on top of Android 6.0 Marshmallow. It's been smooth and responsive, apps open very quickly, switching between apps is fast as well. Scrolling through social feeds and web pages has been buttery smooth. However, there's a lot of pre-installed apps out of the box, and there's no app drawer to be found on the home screen. So when I got my device, I had to organize all the things into folders, which is a hard thing to do for some people like me. But it's not a big deal since you can snap on a launcher anytime you want. And I feel like this skin is a combination of the look of iOS with a lot of bloatware and overpacked features just like Samsung phones back in the days. There's a new feature on the Mate 8 called knuckle gestures, and that means you can do things with your knuckles on the phone. For example, use one knuckle and knock twice, it'll take a screenshot. Use two knuckles to start recording the screen. You can also activate split screen multitasking by drawing a line across the screen using your knuckles, which will take the advantage of the large 6-inch display. So knuckle gestures does come handy sometimes, but if you think about it, knocking on a phone screen is kind of ridiculous, isn't it? I found myself using it less and less because I got tired of it really quickly. Along the back there's an optically stabilized 16 megapixel camera and f1.0 aperture. It sounds pretty good on paper, let's see how it performs. In daylight, photos look pretty good. Color is accurate and the white balance is on point. Pictures got nice detail with 16 megapixels. Dynamic range is okay, but if you do need extra dynamic range, you can always turn on HDR. It works pretty good, but there's no auto HDR, so you have to turn it on and off by yourself. When it comes to low light situations, that's where this camera falls short. Just like a lot of smartphone cameras out there, pictures start to lose details and they tend to have a lot of noise. There's image processing after the pictures are being taken, which takes away some of the noise and sharpens the pictures a little bit. And the good thing is the shutter speed stays at 1/4 of a second maximum. Along with OIS, pictures won't be blurred out very easily. And there's a super night mode. It's basically a shortcut to long exposure time up to 32 seconds. In terms of videos, they look fine. Image quality is okay except there's some digital noise, but it's not a big deal. OIS is doing good, you can shoot 1080p up to 60 frames per second, but for some reason 4K video is not available on the Mate 8, so just keep that in mind. The camera app on the Mate 8 has a lot of features to it. There's light painting, beauty mode, slow motion video, and it's easy to use. Camera opens quickly and you can double press the volume down button to launch the camera. Although it actually kinda reminds me of the look and feel of the camera app on iOS, but it's fast and smooth, and I'm not gonna complain. So overall, it's a fine camera. It's definitely not the best out there because it's got some strong competitions like the Galaxy Note 5, the LG G4, but it's more than enough for Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all kinds of social media, and day-to-day use. So the battery life on my Mate 8 is unbelievable. It's got a 4000 mAh battery, which is relatively large in such a thin form factor, and I'm usually getting about 5.5 to 6 hours, sometimes even 7 hours of screen on time, which is better than most if not all of the smartphones out there right now. The reason why the battery life being so good is because it has a 1080p display. Even though it's large, it's still much easier to power than Quad HD because it's pushing way less pixels. And there's also quick charging, which Huawei claims that you can give it a full charge in just about 2.5 hours through the micro USB port. So the Huawei Mate 8 is definitely a great phone. It's got a good display, good camera, top-notch build quality, very fast fingerprint scanner, and ridiculous battery life. But if you go ahead and purchase one of the top-of-the-line models like I have here, it's gonna run you a little over $1,000, which is not cheap. And considering it's not so good software, I do not recommend you go out and buy one right now. So you might want to wait for a couple months until the price drops, or you can just go ahead and buy the lower end model, which is not bad either. So yeah, there you have it, my review of the Huawei Mate 8. If this phone goes for $600 and runs stock Android, I will rush out and buy one right now. But there's never a perfect smartphone. Anyways, leave a comment down below, let me know what you guys think about the Huawei Mate 8. And leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you don't want to miss future episodes, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!